It's national meets regional. Welcome to Sidewalks Entertainment, the long-running celebrity, music, and art series. Join us now for an exciting new path to celebrity interviews, music, rising talents, and much, much more.
Our guest today requires no introduction. Mr. Piers Morgan is on our show. Piers, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
So wonderful to have you on our show. The interviewer is being interviewed. It's quite an honor. So I have to say,
I'm sure you'll do a great job.
Yeah, fantastic. I've been influenced by work, as many others have. Who's been influencing you over the years?
You know, from an interview point of view, Sir David Frost, the late, great David Frost of Frost-Nixon fame, he was my great interviewing hero. But there are many Americans who I think have been wonderful interviews. Barbara Walters was a great favorite of mine, in particular in America. And I think that the art of interviewing is a very special thing. And I look at lots of other interviewers and try and learn from you know, bits and pieces from each of them.
Right. The art of interviewing. I love the way you put that. And I was just about to ask you, what are the elements that makes a good interview?
You know, I interviewed Donald Trump on Air Force One on Friday, and I had 15 minutes, and they tried to make it 10, and it was all very frenzied and all very kind of dramatic. The plane had to take off, we were running late, and so on. And it really crystallized to me what the art of an interview really is doing is keeping somebody talking, even if all hell is breaking loose around you, and trying to get them to elicit information which is new and interesting. Now, it's quite easy with Trump because he just talks, you know, off the cuff, and he'll tell you whatever he's thinking in any particular moment. But with other interviewers, as you know, sometimes they can be very closed books, very quiet, reserved, or they don't want to give too much of themselves. That's when you have to earn your money. It's when you have to really somehow unlock them, unpick them.
Great tip. Thank you for that. Get people talking. Keep them talking. Fantastic.
With Special Agent Haley,
Right.
you confessed to him over a period of time that you killed 13 women.
This is what Detective Haley has put out.
He believes that you killed 8.
No.
And I just want to go through why he thinks you killed them. And I want to give you the chance to respond to each of these cases and explain why he's wrong. The first lady is this woman here.
I don't even know who that lady is.
This is Bonnie Ryther. She was found buried after missing for a week in 1978. The reason that...
In what year?
1978.
1978. I was 17 years old.
Right. Special Agent Haley believes this was your first victim.
And absolutely not.
Lindsay Sams. She was a 35-year-old woman.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't dispute at the time you confessed to Special Agent Haley.
I did confess it.
You did confess to it. This is Andrea Durham. She was...
I don't know who that girl is. I did not confess to that one.
You'd never met Andrea Durham?
No, sir.
Well, Andrea Durham was 14.
I know, and I never confessed to that crime.
I'm just going to finish. She went missing in 1990, abducted from her home. Now, both of your stepchildren knew Andrea. They were friends.
They may have been friends, but I didn't know all my kids' friends. They didn't hang around she didn't hang around my house, I'll put it this way. They may have knew her, but she didn't come to my house. Never been to my house.
You told Special Agent Haley, I like to
Keep
drink...
going with Special Agent Haley.
Well, I'm just going to go through what they claim.
No, you're backing his story.
No, no,
this
I'm
is,
not. No, no.
Wait a second,
No,
wait
no,
a second.
no,
Don't
no.
stop this right
No,
here.
no, Mark, let me explain to you.
No. Wait.
Mark,
This was supposed to be
I understand.
nothing like this. I see where you've been and got all your information.
No, Mark,
Captain, we through here.
No, Mark.
So congratulations on your new show, Serial Killer. That's great. Pretty intense.
Very intense. I mean, you're talking about interviewing with some of the most dangerous people imaginable. So, yeah, very, very intense.
So what is it about this show that got your interest, that piqued your interest?
Well, I'm fascinated by crime like a lot of people, and serial killers hold a particular fascination because I'm always curious how they're able to get away with what they do for so long. Sometimes in the case of one of my shows, you know, nearly 20 years of killing vulnerable, innocent women. And you just wonder, how can they do this? And the answer is they're very smart, they're very cunning, they're very obviously twisted, deviant, and evil, but they're also very controlling, manipulative, and very good at lying. And that makes them very, very difficult people to interview because they are completely deluded. Often they probably have convinced themselves they're innocent. And you have to try and bombard them with enough evidence, hard evidence, that breaks them down until eventually they both walked out. Both the shows that are airing on Oxygen this week, both of them walk out because they can't deal with it.
Yes, I saw that. I was actually quite intimidated when I saw clips on the show. I mean, how do you feel when you're in there, in their environment and chatting with them?
It's intimidating. I mean, these people are dangerous people. You know,
Yeah.
some of the most dangerous people you'll ever meet in your entire life. One of them killed perhaps as many as 25, 30 women with his bare hands. He was a strangler. And there he is 2 feet away from me getting angry. And the guard had wandered off, and you're thinking, wow, this is one of those moments where if he was to attack me, this guy's killed a lot of people doing that. And it does concentrate your mind. It keeps you on your toes.
And so what do you think these guys, your interview subjects, are getting out of this show?
I think they're trying to persuade me and to manipulate me into thinking that they're innocent people who've been framed. And that's their whole game plan. Is there any way they can get out of prison where they're going to be spending the rest of their lives? And actually, I think in the end of both these shows, the viewer can make their own minds up. But for me, certainly, I think we nailed them for what they are, despicable liars.
Wow. So what do you think is the overall goal of this show then, Piers?
The show goal for me is ultimately to bring some form of comfort to the relatives of those who were killed. In many times, these serial killers never give evidence. They don't testify in court. They've never been challenged properly in public. And the relatives I spoke to who give permission for us to do these interviews were very grateful that I was holding their feet to the fire, these sickening individuals that ruined their lives. And they walk away feeling that not necessarily closure, but at least satisfaction that the people that did this have been exposed for what they are.
So what do you think is something that we are going to be most surprised about watching this show?
I think that you're just going to see 2 apparently normal men who don't look that dangerous, don't look that threatening. They try a charm offensive with me, and you can start to not only see how they could lure people in the first place to what turned out to be their deaths, but also you can see people very practiced at lying and manipulating. And then as the shows go on, I think you start to see the heat rise, the temperature rise, their anger levels rise. You see them begin to snap as I grill them, and then you can start to see a different side to them. And by the end, when they're walking out, you're like, okay, I get it. These guys are as guilty as hell.
So Donald Trump aside and serial killers aside, I have to ask you, who is your most memorable interview?
Wow. Well, I interviewed Professor Stephen Hawking just before he died. I did the last television interview with him. That was a memorable day I spent at Cambridge University, the most brilliant mind of my lifetime, and an extraordinarily brave and inspiring man. The Dalai Lama I interviewed several times, actually. I found him compelling, just so serene and calm, so inspiring in his way. I've interviewed 3 of the 5 living presidents, which was a great thrill: Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Jimmy Carter. So I've been very blessed, really, very lucky to interview lots of powerful and fascinating people.
Great. Wow, those are really good choices. So who haven't you interviewed, and who would you like to put in the hot seat next?
I would love to interview Jack Nicholson. He's my favourite actor, never got close to him. He hasn't given a television interview in 40 years. I'd love to be the first one to get in front of him. What a life he's had, what a career he's had. So people like that have been like the holy grail for me that have so far eluded me.
Wow. Well, hopefully if Jack Nicholson is watching, maybe that will be next on your list.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations again, Mr. Piers Morgan. We look forward to watching you in action on Serial Killer on the
Thank you very
Oxygen
much.
Network.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.